So this is part one on my series of how we run ad campaigns at Primer. For step one, I'm going to talk about messaging and concept development. So as we think about our approach to messaging, we obviously start with some general concepts we believe about the vision, the space, our segment, and overarching positioning. So we've put together a document that lives inside of our wiki where we outline what we believe to be true. So for example, we believe the growth at all costs mentality is over and that now in this environment, it's about efficient growth. We believe that better targeting, focusing on your best fit potential customers, is the crux of greater efficiency. We believe that if you're going to focus on fewer companies, you better reach those decision makers in more places, et cetera, et cetera. So that's kind of like, this gets to the core of why we believe our product needs to exist. And then we detail who our best fit customers are, when do we win those customers, and that all leads us to kind of our general positioning statement, which is, our user problem is efficient acquisition. Our positioning statement as a user, in their words, is I'm trying to focus my efforts to be more efficient. I can't spray and pray with my targeting. I need to hone in. Primer's depth of data gives me the power to reach a very specific audience across more channels because they give me access and automatically combine the best data sets. So that's our kind of general positioning, which is obviously at the essence of our kind of ICP persona, and positioning is at the center of all of our marketing. And then as we think about our ad strategy and our marketing strategy in general, we've been approaching things from a stage standpoint. So the team at Fletch developed this model that we use when we think about the stages. You're trying to get attention, sign up, an aha moment, a habit form, value achieved. These are all the stages of progress for PLG. It might be a little different for B2B, but you can think of things in a similar standpoint. So for us, our kind of first phase is awareness, right? And in awareness, we want to get our ICP to consider the problem Primer solves. And the problem is you're not driving enough signups and conversions for your most valuable prospects, right? This is the problem that Primer, the pain that you may realize, you may not realize, right? We kind of detail the contributing factors that go into that. Native targeting, you can't refine it enough. You get a bunch of unqualified through it. If you're pursuing ABM, actually operationalizing ABM is hard, and then aligning marketing with sales is another problem. So then when we think about those contributing factors and this general problem, the problem that Primer solves, we then think about, okay, what types of content allow us to communicate that message? One might be, pain diagnosis. The goal of all the content is to bring a hidden pain into focus or connect with a pain that is top of mind. We want to get the user to consider the problem solved. So our approach is to call the problem out in our messaging. This is a big problem, right? Another type of content at this stage of awareness-based messaging is around a problem is to give a tip, right? Share something new or novel about a problem. And then the goal is to get them to consider kind of thinking in Primer's mindset. We suggest that our approach is suggest a new way of thinking about things. A third type of content at this stage is around sharing data, right? So we highlight the magnitude of the impact of something. We share stats and facts that are surprising. Um, we, for each stage of our funnel, so that's what we do for awareness, for consideration. We take a similar approach. The idea here is to get them, we want them to consider trying Primer, right? By explaining, what Primer does, how Primer solves the problem. So Primer helps you target the right people more accurately and efficiently. Primer solves the problem that you may or may not be aware of you had at the awareness stage. How we do it, right, is kind of the key points we want to get across at this stage. No more wasted ad spend. You can get way more reach into your ideal accounts. You can get more contacts from sales, all from Primer. And then the types of content that we'll use to get those messages across are flashing a capability, like showing off a feature, educating about a use case, and then showing proof, right? Stats or facts about Primer that are surprising. Lastly, when we think about pushing people into our funnel, is for at least the tip top of the funnel is acquisition messaging, right? And here we want to make it a no-brainer to sign up or to purchase Primer. And the way we try to communicate that is just basically like removing the barriers to entry, right? The idea is we want to get across that it's dead simple to use Primer and test the impact on your ad targeting. The contributing factors are speed, right? It's fast to get going with Primer. Getting results, it's just like how you can get results with Primer, and then evaluating impact. So how you can measure it, make sure it's got good ROI. And then the way we kind of frame those three kind of ideas are around offers, reasons to believe, and then showcasing the ease of the product. So now, for each stage of our funnel, we have kind of like 3 messaging themes and 3 different ways of conveying that, 3 different ways we can convey that message. That opens up a ton of possibility for the content that we can create, right? So now the ideas should start flowing, and they should all be connected back to our core positioning and connected back to moving people down our funnel, from educating them about the problem, educating them about how Primer solves the problem at the consideration phase, and then at the acquisition phase, giving them no excuse not to try Primer and get going with it. Okay. This is our messaging strategy now, and the component and the ingredients to our messages. How do we actually go about creating those messages? Well, this is where, in creating content, this is where AI is a beautiful thing. So the speed with which it takes to iterate and come up with copy and creative is now massively accelerated thanks to language models. So what we do at Primer is we kind of come up with like a concept that's associated with one of these ideas. So let's come to our consideration messaging, for example. No more wasted ad spend, right? That is that theme of efficient spend is is a messaging theme, and then we can think of like a way we want to educate people about it, right? So the type of content. So we could say that we could have an idea around the message ideas around stop accepting wasted spend on unqualified leads. It's tied to this theme of efficient spend, and the way we're going to get that across is by educating people about the solution, a potential solution. So if I pop this open, what we then do is we create different ad variants associated with it, right? So first, that ad variant has a description. Don't waste your ad budget on qualified leads. With Primer, you have control over your audience, ensuring that every penny is spent on pre-qualified prospects, right? efficiency, and we're educating them about the solution. And then for the image, we come up with an idea of basically, showcasing, comparing. You have a lot of unqualified demo requests coming in, and then we can show an audience inside of Primer where you can see that everybody's pre-qualified. Note that we can keep coming up with different variants of this kind of messaging concept, messaging theme, and messaging approach around the solution education. And one of the ways we do that is we actually just straight up ask the AI to generate the content for us. So Notion, I believe, partners with Anthropic to power their AI writing. So we'll just say, we'll go in here and we'll say, ask the AI, I'll write out a prompt, write 5 ad variants about how Primer empowers B2B marketers to focus their ad spend on their top accounts. The Primer B2B marketers can put all their ad spend on LinkedIn, Google search, Instagram, and Facebook towards their top accounts and only their top accounts versus broad-based targeting. Suggest the description, text, headline, and an idea for an accompanying image that showcases the Primer software product and UI. So I sort of write that in as the prompt, and then bada bing, bada boom, we start getting different ideas. And this is where we have the, using our human judgment, we can tweak the ideas, we can tweak the image, we can tweak the text, the copy, we can tweak the image idea, we can cut different ideas, we could ask the AI to rewrite it, and then we could also start linking in different assets at this point. And you have everything you need, or potential assets, like ideas for assets, right? Images, etc. And then, here's an example of where we've done that, right? We say, image carousel, and I have an example here, right? With a link, a Figma link to a design that we have, or another asset that we have. And then I can hand this off to our design team to start iterating on the imagery we need, right? And on the creative assets we need to go along with our messages and our ad copy. So in conclusion, we align messages by stage of the funnel. We use, we think about like, sort of message themes associated with each stage of the funnel. We think about types of content or messaging content approaches that will help us best convey those message themes. And then we use AI to generate different ideas. We come up with ideas for the content itself, just concepts. And then we use AI, last but not least, to generate, using prompts to generate different message copy ideas and text and imagery ideas, and then we hand those off to designers. And that is kind of phase 1 of our process. It allows us to very, very, very rapidly produce ads. We can have up to 10 different ad variants produced a week with one person and one designer. So it allows us to never have the excuse of like ad fatigue or frequency going too high in our ads, because we're able to keep rotating in creative. And in the next kind of step or phase of the process, I'll detail our approach to designing assets rapidly so that we can get them deployed into our campaigns.